I mean, I did my route.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming out in this interesting weather. I'd like to call to order the Rockville Board of Supervisors meeting for February 20th, 2019. So please join us in pledging the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda, are there any public comments on the agenda as presented here tonight? Yes, sir.
Is there a place where you will be talking about the compressor? Because there has been some activity on that.
We will have some comments on that. I will have some comments on behalf of
Okay,
what the township has done and what our community committee has done.
okay, thank you.
Announcements. We will have an executive session following this meeting to discuss personnel and some real estate. We have before us a consent agenda, gentlemen, for minutes for January 16, 2019. The wind plan review status and escrow release, emergency services report, building zoning and building permit report, public works report, planning commission by Chris Thurstein, and I put those forth for your review and approval as a group.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda. We talked about confirmed appointments. No confirmed appointments tonight. Okay. So the first report will be the Park and Rec report by Dave Priest. Welcome, Dave.
How's everybody tonight?
Good, how you doing?
Smaller crowd than last, but we did. Park and Rec 2019, we had our February meeting last Thursday. We were fortunate to have 4 applicants put in their applications for being part of the Park and Rec. We had 3 residents that were actually in the attendance of the February meeting. Fortunate to have each of them speak a couple minutes, give a little intro about themselves, about why they want to be part of the Park and Rec. Seems like it's a trend now. Everybody wants to be part of the Park and Rec. I'm not sure. But it's a good thing. No, I'm glad. We had 3 great people. Out of that meeting, everybody stayed, was part of the conversation, part of the Park and Rec meeting, actually. They stayed, interjected, had great conversations, great great input to the meeting, because we're talking a little bit about Septemberfest, we're talking about Fish and Derby, movie night, stuff like that, upcoming meetings. We have 1 recommendation that we'd like to bring to the Board of Supervisors. For one of the residents would be, applicants would be Jody Guitar for the permanent committee member, and the 2 other, Doug Hanson and Bonnie Stump, as the alternates. And we'll accept whatever the Board of Supervisors approves, whatever you guys want to do with that.
I can tell you that I've known Jody for many years. Goes back to Quakertown. We've known each other for a long time. And I think she's an excellent choice. She's got a lot of good ideas, and I would be in favor of having Jody on as the primary.
Well, as you may not know, Dave, our normal procedure is you make your recommendation like you did, and then the supervisors have the opportunity to call them, speak with the people.
Okay.
And then if they want to choose the same one that you recommend or a different one, then that's fine. Then next month we should be making our decision.
Okay.
That's the way we normally do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to have an opportunity to talk to them.
Okay.
I don't think that you should, I think you should, have you talked to either of the other 2? Even though they made their
They
first
each gave an
choice.
introduction. I mean, it was a.
No, I'm talking about the 3 supervisors.
No, you're right.
Oh.
You're right. No,
You need to, you
I know
should be
Mr.
speaking
Hanson,
to
but I haven't.
Mr. Hanson as well as Bonnie Stump.
Yes,
So
I
is
haven't
you.
had thought.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. Good point.
Yeah.
So we'll let you guys decide. Whatever you guys decide, we'll.
It's on our table.
Yep, absolutely. It's on your table. Whatever
Thank
you guys decide, we were willing to accept and appreciate. We're just happy to have 3 members other communities step up, actually 4 members step up.
Good.
Um,
It's actually good, you know that. It's been a long
Absolutely.
time since we have had
Yeah.
involvement like that.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd rather have too many than not enough. We got some upcoming events. We have the Fishing Derby coming up on April 20th. It's from 9 to 12. Just before that, we're very fortunate to have a dedication to a previous committee member. Her father built a little free library,
Free library.
which is something that's up and coming, which is bring a book, share a book, bring a book, take a book. It's for kids to bring books, many sizes, many shapes, whatever the forms of these little libraries are. They're all portable, they're in parks, they're in different avenues, different places, different locations. It's something that we've been talking about. When Kelly was on the board, she brought it to our attention, she did some homework. Her father was handy enough to actually build one for us, and we're gonna dedicate it right before the Fishing Derby. So we're gonna have 100+ kids maybe at the Fishing Derby, and we're gonna dedicate it right before the Fishing Derby starts. So it's just appropriate, it just kind of works out together, where we're gonna have 100 kids able to actually see this new free library and see the availability of it. So dedicating that on that day, right before the Fishing Derby, I'm happy to do. I think that's great. In August 24th at 7:30, we're gonna have our movie night. Last year, some of you, if you came with your children, grandchildren, whoever, we had Boss Baby for the movie. We're still finalizing the movie night, or I should say the movie for that night. It's gonna start about 7:30 that night. Let's see what else, and September Fest, we're talking about giving a little facelift. So we're gonna kind of shuffle around a couple things, see where locations of vendors and everything like that are. A couple different ideas we have. We actually have, not 100% signed yet, I don't believe, is a barbershop quartet. They're gonna be going around and singing and stuff like that. So it'll be really pretty cool. So we have some new events, new ideas, and little different locations. Something like that. Let's see what else. As a reminder to the board, we discussed in the Park and Rec meeting for last year, we were talking about the tot lot. Last year's October meeting, we discussed having the approval of one of 2, I guess the tot lot, whatever they were, there was 2
Playground items.
playground items, yeah, I was gonna think of the names. One was called the Twister, and one was called Pup Tent Climber. So there was 2 of them. So we were looking to get the approval and the installation cost for one of them this year, whichever would fit the location of what's available in the tot lot as of this year, and then I think there was another one approved for next year. So whatever you guys decide, we'd be happy to move forward with that so we can start planning that.
When you bring them forward, what they are, what you decide on?
Those were the 2 that were approved last year in October 2018.
Okay.
They were approved last year, so it was just one of those 2, and it was just a matter of putting it on the footprint of the tot lot. Let's see, so it was just those. I think that was it. It's pretty simple, pretty good, good effective meeting, lots of good conversations, so we're moving along. Yep.
Thanks, Dave.
I move for motion.
I'll make a motion to accept Dave's report as presented. I'll second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it.
Just getting in
Hi,
place.
Mike, how are you?
Mr. Chairman?
Good evening. Kind of happy to see a few people showing up in this weather, but the Conservation Committee, I think we said before, it's a group of volunteers, and we're helping interested landowners conserve their properties based on the Pennsylvania's open space law. And right now, we've got a goal of about 30% of the township's 10,000 acres that we'd like to preserve, and we're about 16% of the way there, so we're doing pretty good. Our last meeting was held on January 17th. Some highlights from the meeting. The open space signs, if you notice, maybe you haven't seen it, but some of them have a little circle in the middle or an oval in the middle that have the acreage that's preserved, and some are missing. The earlier signs are missing those acreage ovals. So we have a plan to put those acreage ovals on the signs. I know when I took the Boy Scouts through the area to go up to the Sailor Preserve, I pointed out some of the preserved properties, and it's impressive to see how many properties we actually have preserved in the area. So we're gonna try to put the acreage on, so you know how big or small each of these preserved properties are. The preserved property database, we maintain a database of preserved properties, and we've added, a new one. It's Deborah and Edward McGann. They just preserved 39-acre farm located on Ridge Road, and it's sort of surrounded by Simmons and Bardsley Road, and they put a conservation easement on that property. And I think, that new property addition, along with all the existing ones, is gonna be shown on a property map that's in the spring newsletter, so if you're interested, you can see what's been preserved. On the spring newsletter, we also wrote an article on the McGann preservation, that'll be in there, so you get an idea of what it's all about and how we preserved it. And the last thing we try to do at the end of the meeting is, go through some newspaper articles of interest to just general conservation, not necessarily West Rock Hill. One of them was, a recent Philadelphia Inquirer editorial said the Land and Water Conservation Fund, which is a federal conservation program, was not reauthorized by Congress last year. The other one is East Rock Hill Township, I think you're pretty well aware, is fighting the East Rock Hill Quarry in federal court right now. And I guess the 2 points were that a right to a quarry was not granted, and a prospective asphalt plant at the site was denied. So we try to keep abreast of what's going on around the township. Our conservation committee meetings are on the third Thursday of every odd-numbered month, so we meet bi-monthly, and they're at 7 p.m. right here at the table, so you're welcome to join us. And if you're interested, we have some very informative booklets, and they're posted on the West Rock Hill Township site under the Conservation Committee tab. So if you go on the left side and look there, you can get some nice articles on conserving properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael,
Thank you.
for a report.
Thank you.
Question? You have a question?
I was hearing that all this cold weather has killed some of the insects, the bad insects, like the emerald,
Lantern fly and,
yeah, the lanternfly. Have y'all heard anything about that?
yeah, in Wisconsin where it gets to 20 below, they are being killed, but not here, it's not cold enough.
Okay.
We actually have the Boy Scouts, I'm a member of Troop 1, they're going through Lenape Park to identify trees that have lantern flies on them. I think the idea is to reduce the population, get rid of the trees that they're going after, and to try and reduce it. I don't think they'll eliminate it, but at least
Like,
reduce it.
I'm sorry, I've heard complaints that they have a problem with Manorfield one too.
I'm sure they do, that
I'm
I
just saying,
have
if
my
you
place.
get your scouts out for a hike or something.
Yeah,
They want-
there is a Bucks County Conservation, group that's dedicated to the lantern fly, and if you really need to know, I can get your, contact information.
I heard it was the emerald ash up there, not the.
Well,
Well, the emerald ash borer is another one.
That's gonna take over the entire, state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, it is.
The ash trees. I will share with you, Mrs. Furlong, I have signs scaled, you see it on the ash trees, they start to get that yellowish scale on the bark. When that happens, you know that the emerald ash borer have done their job.
Right, huh?
Yep,
Yeah, the bark just basically chunks about that big just falls off.
yep.
They burrow, cut underneath it, and you just got pile of bark. The only way to stop it is cut down every tree.
Well, and that's what a lot of people are doing. I read in the Lancaster farming paper I get, they're timbering the ash that are
To save
salvageable to save what's there right now.
You know, we were just up in Knockemixon with the scouts putting, owl boxes up, and they're going through and they're not clear cutting, but they're cutting every emerald.
May I comment on this?
I'm sorry?
May I comment on it?
Sure.
Cliff Cole,
State your name.
Cliff Cole, Shoecraft Road. You can also inoculate your trees. We've inoculated, most of ours on our property. It has to be done every 2 or 3 years. It's arguable whether there is a high cost, but there's also a high cost of removing the tree if it's in a place where it's gonna hit a road. So,
Yeah, we've done the same thing on our property.
you
They
get
can be
feedback.
treated.
I can give you a contact.
All right. Thank you.
I make a motion, we accept Mr. Schreimeyer's report as presented.
Second?
Moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mike. Finance report. Blake, Mr. Blake. Good, how are you?
Mr. Blake, how quickly you fly.
Oh, let's change it up.
This is the police report listing the crimes and activities for Penrith Regional Police Department for January 2019. The department handled 554 calls for service. 282 of those calls were in East Rock Hill and 272 were in West Rock Hill. And we investigated 23 traffic crashes. 10 crashes were in East Rock Hill and 13 were in West Rock Hill. 13 were reportable and 10 were non-reportable. We handled 7 Part 1 crimes and 41 Part 2 crimes. And the crimes in West Rock Hill are as follows: assault with a weapon, theft, possession of heroin, 2 DUI cases, 3 cases of disorderly conduct, 2 cases of criminal mischief, 1 harassment, 1 public drunkenness, 1 unauthorized use of auto, 2 dog law violations, and 5 ordinance violations. In East Rock Hill, the crimes are as follows that were reported: 2 assaults with a weapon, 1 burglary, no force during the day. That's how it's classified in UCR crime reports. 6 fraud cases, 2 theft cases, 1 weapons on school property, 1 underage drinking, 2 disorderly conduct cases, 1 narcotics possession, 2 criminal mischief cases, 3 harassment cases, 1 DUI, 2 trespass cases, 2 ordinance violations, and 2 dog law violations. The criminal charges filed in January 2019 are as follows: 1 charge for possession of heroin, 1 charge of criminal attempted homicide, 3 charges of simple assault, 3 charges of harassment, 2 charges of aggravated assault, 3 charges of possession of marijuana, 2 charges of possession of drug paraphernalia, 3 charges of DUI, 2 theft charges, 1 fraud charge, 2 receiving stolen property charges, 1 recklessly endangering other persons charge, 1 terroristic threats charge, 2 accidents involving intended property charge, and 2 disorderly conduct charges. Officers conducted 199 traffic enforcement details, administrative summary. We did a walkthrough of Penrith High School, Percy Police Department. I met with Penrith High School staff. We had a canine search at Penrith High School, and Sergeant Maloney met staff at West Rock Elementary, going over a unification drill we need. So that's the police report.
I wanted to bring up these.
Oh, yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
At the Picado meeting last weekend, they were giving out these pill pods. A pill pod is a place to safely keep your medicine away from other people in the house. If people come in to work on your plumbing, or you have young children, you want to keep your pills away. This holds about 8 or 9. Get the picture of it here. 8 or 9 of the vials that pills come in. There's a combination lock on top. When you open the combination, this whole top comes off, and then you can stick your pills in. I bring it up now because of the drug take-back program, and that's a good central place to put these things. So I'm going down Friday to the Bucks County Drug and Alcohol Commission office in Warminster, and I'm picking up about 24 of those. They put them aside for me, so I will be dropping them off at the police station. So if anybody wants one on Friday or next week or whenever, they'll be in the lobby of the police station. I think it's a pretty good deal. It's free. They said if you run over with a car, you might be able to open it, but other than that, it's pretty solid. So if anybody has any questions, yes, Bob?
Well, isn't that a convenient place to put all your drugs so they can just steal them all at once?
Well, I mean, you can look at it that way too. I mean, I'm just saying, it could keep them out of the hands of kids, or, you know.
Probably keep out,
I mean, if you can't, you have to secure that.
You could. But rather than just sitting in,
Just like you secure your bills.
sitting, in your bathroom, there if you want to, secure your prescriptions, especially if they're opioids.
They claimed, excuse me, they claimed at the seminar that's how a lot of children get into, start using pills, is they say that they start stealing or taking their grandparents or parents' medication out of the medicine cabinets.
Just another tool for parents, just like the gun safety locks, we have them at the station.
Yeah.
Just another thing to keep people safe.
And the other thing, if you're finished with your drugs, you can store them in here till you take them over to the police station for
That would be.
drug take back. Okay? Just another tool like Chief Blake said. So they'll be available by Friday afternoon at the police station.
At the station.
Yeah.
With our gun locks and stuff.
Yeah.
One last thing real quick, it's pothole season, so everybody knows that, right? If, you know, you come across a pothole and you don't have time to call PennDOT or whatever, just email the station, contact me. If it's on, you know, you don't know, you might not know if it's a state road or township road. We'll make that determination, and if it's something, you know, the township can handle, we'll pass it on. If it's a state, we'll pass it on to PennDOT, so.
Chief, there is a concern I have of the old 309. That's the condition of that, it's getting pretty bad.
We have told PennDOT.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you maybe to write a letter from the police department, and kind of have Greg write a letter from the township here. We are experiencing complaints of that condition of that road.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it makes it worse, people are using that,
Definitely.
people are using that as an alternate versus 309 when it gets backed up from 3 to 6 o'clock.
Mhm.
So it has greater chances of having some serious problems there. So I agree with Jay. I tried it myself and it's like
Mine,
a line, yeah.
Mhm.
minefield. All right, I'll make a motion, we accept Chief's report. Is that?
Second.
Do it in a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you, Chief. Well done.
I'm sorry.
Yes or no? I was a little bit late. I have a question for you.
For me or the board?
Well, for you.
Oh, okay.
For you. One comment is about the speeding that occurs up the bypass. I'm sure other people would have the same complaint, because if you're going even 65 miles an hour, people go by you, they're doing 80.
Mhm.
The other comment is about Old Bethlehem Pike, and I don't know if that's what Mr. Kaiser was referring to when you said Old 309? Okay.
It's Bethlehem Pike,
Bethlehem
it's just
Pike.
Bethlehem Pike.
Yeah, okay, right. There is another old,
Yes.
because I would confirm what he was saying, and one night I was going down that road at a very, respectable speed, and two cars went by me racing, and they picked up so much stone from the loose stone that was on that road. They cracked my windshield, and they were going so fast, I couldn't even tell you what state the plates were. That's just to let you know that is
Okay.
going on, and they're not joking about the condition of the road.
Okay. Thank you.
This is right just prior to the teepee, where the,
The PennDOT shed is.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll address your concerns with PennDOT. I'll, take care of that. I think it's best if it comes from me, and I'll have to include Craig in on that contact. And we do have a contact with Finland Road, PennDOT contact. That guy seems to take action when we, I guess some things, so.
Maybe the state police can ramp up a little bit activity.
Yeah.
On the bypass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Truett Rec Authority. Jim, you have a report on that?
Yeah, we're just all getting excited about getting ready to open in the end of May. We've got our new manager on board, Karen Nace, and she's already working with the lifeguards. We've got most of our lifeguards coming back. We've got a few new ones that are coming in that need training and also some certification. We're in the final stages of signing a contract for the snack bar. We've got a lady who actually is a longtime pool member. Her kids have been at the pool for a long time, and she works in a local school running the cafeteria. So she has a lot of experience with food, and she liked the way the old menu was, so we're kind of going back to the old way the pool was years ago. So we're really excited about that. And we've put bids out to paint the pool. The pool will be painted by the opening day. So everything's looking good right now. That's about it.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Jim, last month I asked if the board could provide a copy of the season ticket holders from
Yeah,
last year.
Suzanne had put that together. I thought she passed it to you.
Did she?
Maybe she didn't.
don't
I'll check with Suzanne tomorrow.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
That's why I'm just bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you. She did do it though.
Okay.
I know, I saw her put it together.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I move approve the report by Jim for the
I'll second it.
Truett Rec. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, let's have it. tax collector's report, and Suzanne is not here. I hope she's out collecting money.
Suzanne could not make it tonight. In your packet is her report. For the month of February, she collected $122.07. It is the slow time of the year. The
Yeah.
tax bills will soon start to be printed and go out.
Craig, you know, we got the report from Bucks County on delinquent taxes.
Yes.
That seems to be growing pretty rapidly.
Well, it always fluctuates. It always, it goes up and then slowly comes down.
The
and then
couple are really big,
Yes.
and that's what really shoots the total up, but that's township money we're not getting, so.
Sooner or later, they will win the properties and then put them up for sheriff's sale.
Anybody have any comments on the,
I have none. I'd make a motion to approve the tax collector's report.
I'll second.
okay, moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Engineer report, Mr. Baloo.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I have on the engineering report tonight is has to do with our township stormwater management plan. Are you familiar with the MS4 plan? It's the municipal separate storm sewer plan that we're mandated to have in place by DEP, and they're mandated to have the program through the EPA. We've had the MS4 program for many years. It's a 5-year cycle, and we might be on our 3rd or 4th permit of that. It dates back to the early 2000s. This latest cycle, they've added a new component that they're calling a pollution reduction plan. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight. The MS4 program addresses storm sewer systems and storm sewer conveyances, so roadside swales and things within the urbanized area of the township. And by urbanized, they define that as through census tract information. So it's all the area south of East Branch, Perkiomen Creek in the lower end of the township, and then like from Lawn Avenue out to Bethlehem Pike along Ridge Road and a little bit up Bethlehem Pike. Now there's only a subset of that area is addressed in the pollution reduction plan, and that's streams that are impaired due to siltation within that urbanized area. And in our township, that's Mill Creek, which is where the arch bridge is on Clymer Ave. That's Mill Creek that goes under there. And then 3 Mile Run that leads to the Tuhican Creek, and the Tuhican is impaired. So those are the areas that we were meant to address by the pollution reduction plan. Last year, we put together a pollution reduction plan. We advertised it just like we have tonight. Township voted to approve it. We sent it to DEP, and they resoundingly rejected our plan, as well as just about everybody else's plan in the state. Between the initial submission and now, they've come up with a whole new set of guidelines for us to follow to prepare the plan. So apparently they reviewed all the plans, picked what they liked out of the bunch, and then set them as our new standards. The one good thing is that they agreed to review our information in steps. So since our plan was rejected last year, we've submitted in steps all of our new information, including the draft plan that's on the website. And they're agreeable to all the information we have, if that's the plan that the township adopts tonight. So, long and short of it, the pollution reduction plan is intended to minimize sediment that gets into streams, because that's their concern, that pollution, contaminants attach themselves to sediment, so if you could reduce the sediment, you'll reduce other contaminants that get to streams. And they came up with a bunch of formulas on how you do these calculations. It boils down to, we have to propose projects within our next 5-year cycle to construct that will reduce sediment loading to streams. The 2 basic ones that we've narrowed it down to is modifications to some of the older stormwater management basins, some of those basins that aren't wetland basins or have a concrete channel in them. They just flush right out. They don't have time to clean the water. And repairs to stream banks that are eroded. You get a lot of credit for doing naturalization and stabilization of stream banks. So we identified 4 potential projects that are listed in the pollution reduction plan. 2 of them are stream bank projects. One would be, actually along the 3 Mile Run, through the Fedigari property. And the other would be along Mill Creek, either on either side of Clymer Avenue, either on the Mill Creek Manor side, or the upper side goes through the open space of, I forget what they call it, John Garrison